Hello and welcome to an introduction to our library catalog. This is our library's main website, libguides.sccsc.edu/home. Our library catalog is where you can go to find books, ebooks, videos, and other materials at the SCC library. You can search our catalog in a few different ways. On the homepage of our website, we have an option to do a search in our library catalog. You can search for materials by choosing the tab you want and typing in what you're looking for. The three options are Catalog and Databases, which will search our library catalog and databases to find articles, books, ebooks, videos, etc. Catalog and eBooks will search our print books and ebooks collection. And Other Colleges, Pascal delivers, will search for materials that are available at other college libraries, but we'll get into that in more detail in just a little bit. To view the full library catalog, click here where it says Open Library Catalog. This is the inside of our library catalog. Our Ask a Librarian chat is also available to you in the catalog. If you are working and have a question, click on the Ask Us tab on your screen to get in touch with the librarian. We have some options up here for additional searching, including New Search, Ask a Librarian, Find Databases A to Z, Research Guides, Magazines and Journals by Subject, Interlibrary Loan Request. We also have some additional options by clicking on these three dots. Here you can find our Browse search and our Journal search. We'll talk about these options more in a little bit. First, let's go and do a general search in the library catalog. I'm going to search for the Civil Rights Movement. You'll notice that when I type that in, I have a couple of different options here. I have Catalog and eBooks, Catalog by Campus, Catalog and Databases, Other Colleges, Pascal delivers, Electronic Only, Databases and eBooks, and Course Reserves. So with all of these options, which one do you choose? Well, that will depend on what you're looking for and what kind of materials you want. The library catalog and ebooks will search the library's print collection, ebook collection, and the other physical materials that we have in the library. So mainly it's going to search for our books and our DVDs. It will also search journal titles and magazine titles, but not the articles inside those journals or magazines. Let's search in catalog and ebooks first to see what happens. Okay, we have over 2,000 results in the catalog alone. Here on the side, under Filter Your Results, we can see some limiters. We could limit to see what is only available online, or what is available as a physical or print item, what's available open access, or even what's in a peer-reviewed journal. We could also change the publication date of when a book was published, or we could specify what kind of material we're looking for, a book, a video, or a journal. Let's say that I found a book that I was interested in, and I'm going to click on this one here, The Civil Rights Movement by Enzo George. I can tell that the book is available online as an ebook, and we only have this particular book available as an ebook and not a physical print book. So if I were looking for a physical print book, I would need to use the limiters on the side to limit to physical and print items. So I'll click on this book here. If I was interested in using this ebook, I could click on the link under View Online in order to find the full text of the book. So I'll click on this link here. Now, depending on the ebook, this screen might look a little bit different, but what's important for you is to find out where you can read the book online. And I'll click here where it says Read Online. Once you're inside the book, you will have some different options to find the material you're looking for. You could go to specific chapters here on the side under Table of Contents and click on the specific chapters to read. Or you could even search within the book. And then you will find out where your search term is located in the book. You could also just flip through the book like you would a regular print book. Now that we've found an ebook, let's find a book in print. I am going to narrow down my search this time to print physical items. And I want to look at this book here, Black Women Leaders of the Civil Rights Movement by Zita Allen. Now right here at the top, I can see the physical location of the book. I know that this book is available at the Giles Central Campus Library, and it's available for checkout. Here's the call number that tells me where the book is located on the shelf. I can also scroll down even further to see a little bit more information about the book, like a description and the table of contents. If I scroll down even further, I can see the browsing section. If I find a book that I like, I can scroll down to the browsing section to see if I can find other books that are similar to this one. The library catalog also gives you the option to search by campus. When you click on this option, you will see another menu to select a different campus. Here, you can select which campus to get your physical materials from. This could be a good option if you're looking for print books or other physical materials on a specific campus. However, don't worry too much. If a book that you are looking for is only available on a certain campus, you can request books from other SCC campuses to be sent to the campus of your choice. The way you can do this is by signing into the library catalog, and you could sign in right here at the top right corner of your screen. Click on Sign In, and then click on Students and Staff because that's who you are, and you may be asked to sign in with your portal credentials. I can tell that I'm signed in now because my name is going to be at the top corner of the screen instead of where it says Sign In. Once you're signed into the catalog, you have a lot more options where you can see My Loans, which are the books that you have checked out, and My Requests, which are books that you have requested from the library. Now that we know what's being searched when you select Catalog and eBooks and Catalog by Campus, let's try searching Catalog and Databases. Catalog and Databases will be searching for books, eBooks, DVDs, magazine titles, and journal titles, in addition to searching through database articles. So we've just done a search for the Civil Rights Movement in Catalog and Databases. Since I'm looking for a journal article this time, I'm going to limit my search down by item type to just articles, so I can only see those kinds of sources. You can scan the list and see the number of articles that come up, and then just select one to look at. Just like before, you will look for where it says View Online and then click the link underneath to see the full text of the article. Sometimes you might see multiple links underneath View Online, and that just means that the article is available in several of the different library databases, so you can just click whichever link. And now you've been taken into the record page for the article, and you can see the full text of the article here by clicking on PDF Full Text. Again, depending on the article, this page may look a little bit different, but you should always be able to find the full text of the article by clicking on PDF Full Text or HTML Full Text. Most of our databases have additional tools to help you with citations, email options, downloading and printing, and permalink options. You can also see in the record page of the article in the library catalog that there are some related reading articles. So these might be other articles that are related to the article that you're looking at. Feel free to check these out for some additional resources. Other colleges, Pascal Delivers is going to find you materials that are available not just in the SCC library, but other college libraries across South Carolina. When you choose this option, you will see books that other colleges in South Carolina own. These books will be delivered to you through Pascal Delivers. Searching in other colleges, Pascal Delivers also means that you are finding items that are not immediately available to you. Let's look at this book here, The Civil Rights Movement by Jamie J. Wan Wilson. I can see that SCC does not own a copy of this book. However, I can request the book from another library and it will be sent to SCC for me to pick up. This service does take a few days, so it might not be the best option if you're in a time crunch. Let's say you're doing some searching in the catalog and you see some items that you like and you want to keep in mind. Or you see some articles that you like in addition to books. You can pin these items and then later see what materials you've pinned by clicking on the little thumbtack icon. This could help you organize your research and show what items you have saved. Back in the catalog, by selecting Electronic Only, Databases, and eBooks, you are going to make sure that you are only pulling back information that is electronic. This is especially helpful if you're looking for information, but you're not on campus. So you might be searching from home and want the material right away, so this would be your best bet. Again, we do have the filters on the side to help you narrow down your search, and you can narrow down with things like publication date or what type of material you are looking for. This time, I only want to look at peer-reviewed journals. Peer-reviewed journals are sources that are very academic in nature and high quality because they've been reviewed by experts in the field and are written by an expert in the field. A lot of times your instructors will ask you for peer-reviewed material. So I'll click on this article here, Rolls Down Like Water, the American Civil Rights Movement. I can see here that it says that this journal is peer-reviewed, which is exactly what I'm looking for. And it's available online in a few of the different library databases. I do want to point out one other thing while we're here. Whether it's in books or a database, the record page from the catalog can give you a lot of information about how to find other materials. If you look at the subject terms right here, where it says archival material, civil rights movements, etc., you can click on any of these subject terms to find more articles, to find more materials that are tagged to the subject. So for example, I could click on civil rights movements, and I'll find all of the different library materials that are tagged to that term. Now the last option is course reserves. Sometimes at SCC, an instructor will put materials on reserve for students to use in the library only. To see if your class has any materials on reserve, choose the course reserves option and then type in the name of your course. So for example, I will type in English 101. Now I can see which books are on reserve for that class. You can even click on your course instructor to see what book they specifically have on reserve for your class. So if I click on the book and I'll select the Norton Field Guide to Writing with Readings and Handbook, I can also see which campus this book is available on, and it looks like it's available on all of the different campus libraries here at SCC. Again, there are many ways to search for information, including catalog and ebooks for print resources, physical materials, and ebooks. You could also search for print books and physical materials by campus by choosing Catalog by Campus. The library catalog and databases just takes the previous search and adds database articles. Other colleges, Pascal Delivers is searching not just SCC's catalog, but many other library catalogs as well. Electronic only, databases, and ebooks is great if you're looking for material that you can access right now. And course reserves will help you find any course materials that your instructor is holding at the library. We do have a few other options for searching that I want to tell you about, specifically the journal search, find databases, and research guides. Doing a journal search is a great way to find materials in journals when you don't know the name of a specific journal. The journal search button can be found up here by clicking on the three dots and then clicking Journal Search. Say my instructor wants me to find some journal articles about crafting, but I'm not quite sure where to find articles or what types of material I'm looking for. I can go to Journals by category and click on Arts, Architecture, and Applied Arts. And this will give me a list of over 200 journals to search through. Once you find one that sounds interesting to you, like American Craft, you can do a search for articles within this journal. I am going to search for knitting. Now I can see a list of every single article in American Craft Journal that has to do with knitting. Find databases is another place to search for materials. Even though our library catalog is searching databases, sometimes you might want to go to a specific database. So in this case, if I wanted to search for an article about education, I could click on Education. And maybe I want to look today in the EBSCO education databases. And I can do a search in here so that I'm getting journal articles specifically about education. I'm going to search for community college. Databases help you get some specific results back and make sure that you're getting them from credible journals or magazines that your instructor is looking for. We also have research guides available on the library website. This is where you can find material for a certain subject that you are looking for. So for example, if you were looking for information about nursing, we have some specific class assignments and some more general resources about nursing. This will help you find articles from databases specific to nursing. You could also find books and videos related to nursing, or even some websites that are specific to nursing. Again, this will help you find material that is really specific to your needs. On all of our web pages, we have this Ask a Librarian button. This is a way for you to contact the library through email or chat. If you have any questions for us, this way we can help you find the material that you're looking for. The library hours on our homepage will tell you when we're open at our various locations and at different times of the year. And again, Ask a Librarian will give you multiple ways to ask any library questions. Thank you for watching our library catalog demonstration. If you have any questions, please get in touch with us at the library.